Don't mess with me. I let everything go to show I grow. Show your power, do the same. Show your power, do the same. To the regular message. In this message, thank you, everybody. Earth stars, all the bodies that like to keep contact with me, the ones that want me to know and the ones that don't want me to know. I appreciate you. I appreciate everything that everybody does because that's just life. And life is like we need ants inside of the ground. We need bees flying around. I don't know about the wasp, but they do their part. I haven't even like studied or looked up anything about wasp. But what I'm trying to say is I'm here as an artist to give and display what it's like living in Mississippi as an artist because not a lot of people talk about that. I'm pretty sure that the people that wanted to talk about that they didn't really get to talk about that. I'm inside of I think an extraordinary position because I can see afar the threats, the different things, that are stopping me from being able to be myself. And I'm not going to utilize, fighting that with aggression. So this is what I choose to do with it. I choose to speak on the topic. I choose to show the truth. And that's what I'm going to do inside this video. Um, so public safety. When it comes to public safety, I believe that, they do want to keep people safe. Who they want to keep safe is the real question. Because when it comes to me, am I a part of the people? Like, how can I say that I'm a part of the grapevine that God has delivered into the world? What I mean, I went to church. I was bad. I did things, and now I don't live that kind of life. I don't run around trying to fight people. I am defensive, yes, but I don't run around looking for interactions that make me seem like some big bad guy. No, I don't want to be a big bad guy. I want to be at peace and having my own and making my own money without having to bend over backwards or get on my knees or anything like that to beg in order for me to get somewhere. I'm not talking about the whole God thing. I do pray to God, but there's a difference in praying in Mississippi, and that's what I'm trying to point out. So here we are. When it comes to praying in Mississippi, you have to be careful how you pray because like you could be praying on something and still be praying on something. It's so weird. Those words are weird. Pray, because when you pray, you're talking to God. You're reaching for a higher level. You're reaching for enlightenment. You're reaching for authenticity. But when you pray, that means you're empty. That means you're looking for something to fill yourself. You're looking for something to keep your blood boiling and when it comes to Prey is always at the expense of another living being. And that is the crazy part about praying. Because, like, you go to church, you repent your sins, you know what I mean? And then you pray. That is the cloudy area. And in Mississippi, it has nothing I'm not trying to talk about the religion of Mississippi. I'm just trying to talk about the way that religious religious practices treat nature, the way that we all treat each other. You know what I'm saying? And like inside the Bible, it says, do all these different things, but nobody's really doing them. And if they are, they're doing them with a twist. And I think that's manipulative towards God. And what I'm here to show is how somebody wants to manipulate God. And like I don't know if it's them thinking that they're, gods themselves or if they have the God complex, but all I can say is I went to church and God did what he did for me, Holy Ghost, all that stuff. I feel whole. I learned about spirituality, not Pan African, but I do know about Pan Africanism. I don't know. I can't say or classify who I truly am, except for I love art, and I think that art is God. I think art is what helped me and gave me this perspective because I had it before I went to church. And then when I went to church, I got saved, baptized, and stuff, and then you know now I know who Jesus is, And the biggest challenge for me is keeping up with Jesus, keeping up with being who you're supposed to be, keeping up with, holding yourself accountable for the things that you do, keeping up with, the way that you treat people, how humble you feel inside the environment you're in. Like, all this stuff is just a learning process. And if you can't learn, if you don't have room to learn, if you're always pestering yourself about sins, then what are you really doing? Are you praying or are you praying on? And I don't know. So I was going for a walk. I felt bad. And sometimes I walk to like these places where they hold, inmates, not really inmates, but like, people, criminals that are going to jail or people that are in jail. Like I go to the public safety center or, by the courthouse or, by the places where everything that involves me but doesn't directly involve me has to do with my life. So I go there and I directly involve myself physically with the environment so that I could try to understand what it is that I'm missing, because obviously it's something I'm missing. And what it is I'm not preying on something. I'm not preying on someone. And why would I think that? Why would I think that they're preying on someone or things or people? I don't know. Just look at the things that I found, and you tell me what you would think after finding this and seeing, oh yeah, they use the words of the Bible. They use the words of the Bible in their own words in order for them to be able to justify the things that they do to people, or to be able to justify the fact that they want to defend the loss of the inappropriate gains that they were already trying to assimilate, if that makes sense. And this little tombstone thing was here since the 1900s. That I don't know how to explain any of this. I just want to share what I found and how I feel, because like the background says it all. I really feel like I'm in the dark here, and I'm about to cut this light off pretty soon. So yeah, hate it or love it, down the dog's on top. And I'm going shy, homie, until my heart stop. Don't envy me, please don't envy me. All right, now later. I don't know why they have this tone in front of the building, but it looks like it's a tribute to fallen officers or a dedication to the job that officers on duty do. If you look closer, you'll see that there's a Bible verse there. This Bible verse is supposed to quote John 15:1, but what they have here is greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. That's not true. And I also went and looked in other Bibles too. After that, I was walking home, and this is what I saw. Who knew that exercising your rights was against the law? I mean, I'm just talking about the things that I found and that are very public. This right here, this video is, another vehicle that stopped at the light, black BMW, and they stopped there for like, I would say 45 seconds, more than 45 seconds. And on the right over here, and on the right here, you have a guy pushing a buggy with a tarp covering the contents. In my honest opinion, I think it's just a ploy for the government to justify why they would think that I am somewhat of a threat. I don't know this guy. Looks like a homeless guy, but he came by at the perfect time, which is really weird. As you can see, the BMW still sitting there, and it drives away when he clears the building. As I'm walking home, somebody leaves the door open wide. So I document while I'm walking by, because in Mississippi, anything can happen. And there are a lot of people that would love to lie to, have the power to do the things that they like to witness happening. As I'm walking, though, there's this car that pulls up out of nowhere. It don't even look like he was ready to stop. No honk, no nothing, no warning, no real safety towards the pedestrians. Or maybe he was worried about the car that he was going to check on, or to see if anybody had bothered it start documenting walking by him too, because as I said, there's a lot of things that happen in Mississippi, like Emmett Till, like all kinds of things that just go unexplained, and there's so many different stories that are twisted, and that's why I'm posting these videos. That's why I'm posting all of this stuff and documenting my life so that it can be seen that my attempts were just to be an average citizen in America, and I'm gonna stop and
Hey,
ask
what
him a
kind of
couple
car
of
is that?
questions about his car to, socialize.
Rambler, dash
Ra-
Rambler,
Dash Rambler?
60, but it's on a frame of a '86 Chevy S10.
Oh.
So
Well, I wouldn't know anything about it. My dad loves cars, so I'll probably,
it's
you know.
just an old rat rod.
Okay. Thank you.
These are the
Thank you.
remarks that I had after this encounter.
I'm just trying to figure out how is it that a black man like myself, possibly mentally, sick or something like that, just walk. All I do is walk past public safety, bro. That motherfuckers go crazy. Like I'm telling you, bro, they're like they sat at the stop sign just because I was hanging out around the city. Like I don't have the right to do that shit. What I'm trying to say is, why am I being confronted for exercising my freedoms? That's all I'm saying, bro. Look, I'm saying though, I think the biggest problem that I probably have with all of this quid pro quo stuff is I don't even want nothing that anybody got. I want nothing they got. I want what I want. I know how I picture my stuff. I don't put it together in my mind already. I'm trying to build that. And that's the thing, like every time I try to build, I get stopped. I get roughed up. I gotta jump through the hurdles. But yeah, and still I ain't even a criminal. I ain't out here doing stupid shit. Like I may have been accused of it, but there's no real like legitimacy to it. I ain't get caught by no police officers because I didn't do shit. And what I'm trying to say is, how can, how can, oh wait, how can I be seen as a threat for exercising my rights? Like, literally, all I do is walk up there. I don't say nothing out loud. My stuff being documented and stuff. I don't talk about do anything. I don't even think about that kind of stuff until, I'm in defense. But other than that, like, I don't think public safety is to save anybody. I don't think I'm safe. I think it's a scare tactic. Not a scare tactic. I think it's a tactic, a fear tactic to manipulate certain people. And I think that's what's going on here. They trying to manipulate me. That's that. And that's why nothing beneficial comes from, the individual, what do you call it, monitoring of Americans. Because then they could use that against people that they just don't like. And I think that's what it is. Like, somebody don't like me. I don't know who it is. If it's their friends, or if they got friends that's all in on it, I don't know what's going on. I just know my information is being used to target me, and I don't have proof because I'm not the person that's doing all this stuff, and I can't see who's using my information as a government official. So how can I defend myself? No defense, except for going to court after I get arrested, or, people speaking on my death after I die. That's that. All I'm saying is, you got public safety, you got prevention, and all that stuff for people and their safety. What about me? Shit. If anything, I became the target of all that safeness for everybody. Everybody's so safe. I gotta be paranoid and depressed. Shit, you think that public safety is the only thing? You think that public safety is the only reason that a nigga can't do shit? No, they've been sabotaging other shit too. What's up? How you doing?
Man, pretty good. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm living. That's the best part. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, like they always sending people around to manipulate your information, the information, intellectual property and shit. They want you to go spend money, go work here, go work there. But then when you start building on your own, it's in niggas like this to try to knock you off your pivot, off balance, off of your drugs, off of your, girls, women and stuff like that. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I do want some good coochie, but now I gotta sacrifice it because that shit ain't safe. It ain't safe. I don't even know who sent you. Who sent you? Shit, I'm worried about the baby mama being the CIA. Hell, I'm just saying, bro. It sounds like paranoia, but the truth is, like people like targeting me without me knowing, and that would cause paranoia. Especially if you were being robbed. Especially then.
That experience didn't have anything to do with connecting a community or getting, someone into a socioeconomic situation. If anything, I think that it was more so of a trigger to try and cause paranoia, because I was just talking about how, being stalked, and then boom, out of nowhere, somebody comes up like randomly. This guy was inside the yard. He wasn't on the street. He was inside the yard, walking by the fence, and that's a space that people don't normally be. You know what I mean? And people had enough time to prepare because I was actually on foot and walking, so there was a lot of time to prepare. For me being in the yard or me, being around when he walked by. He was eating. He had a plate. So it's all of the signs of, oh, this is what you need to do inside of your life, instead of worrying about defending yourself. And that's not what I want to do. That's not who I am. For whatever reason, the timing is the main thing that stands out, because like why would you bother someone that you feel is sick, someone that you feel is psychotic, inside of a vulnerable situation or at a vulnerable moment? I'm not saying that somebody is planning to try and get me to or prop me into paranoia. What I'm saying is the attempts at my mental strength and my mental abilities, instead of helping me aspire to be a better person inside of Mississippi, is the biggest conflict that I'm struggling with. Because, like, how can I get anywhere if everybody is just ready for me to be a part of the stats, the statistics? Like, that's why I stay away. That's why I'm painting and making art, and that's why I feel like that is the best profession for me. I feel like that's my career because I've always tried to pursue that, and everything that I tried to go through, like, stopped me, either gave me full on distractions, or, at the same time as giving me distractions, didn't really give me any aspirations towards the dreams that I want to pursue. Like, it just doesn't make sense. How am I dreaming with anybody if in everybody else's dream I am the enemy? I am the guy that will attack you at any moment, anytime, just like a freaking dog. Although I don't smell like a dog whenever I go and do things, like, I don't have to have a dog around me to excuse myself from smelling like a dog, like, I'm just saying. I'm not gonna lie, I appreciate the impressionism because I'm going to use that inside of my art. But at the same time, it doesn't really justify the facts that, like, an average black African American in Mississippi is prone to being utilized like this, instead of, you know, given the normal thing that criminals are practicing in business, and with licenses as doctors, and like people that are pest control, like lawyers, like all of these different, like, positions. Where are their where are where why where are their tests? Like, when are you gonna test them to see if they're criminals? Like, when are you gonna, like, check the amount of people or the amount of things that went wrong, it's out of their hands because I don't even hold anything. And all of these resources are going towards me. I don't even do anything with this. This is all I'm doing. And I'm trying to do this on, on a regular. Like, I don't get it. So public safety has this vow that they are attempting to keep people and property safe. Not that includes law enforcement. That also includes hospitals and all these other things. And what I'm saying is, all these resources are being poured into protecting these facilities, and when people are the ones that are paying for it. And if I'm a part of the tax, like if I'm being taxed, then that means I'm paying for it too. So why am I being patronized? Because that's exactly what's going on here. The culture in Mississippi has its culture. Good for them. But culture changes, and I'm changing the way that I live my life. And if you guys can't change with me, then why patronize me about my difference? In America, it's one nation under God, individual, with liberty and justice for all. We're talking about the land of the free and the home of the brave. I am being brave. It's very cowardly to stalk people. That's all I'm saying. If I was stalking somebody, then I guarantee you I would be in jail. But I don't stalk people. I utilize my rights, and I go in public areas. You know what I mean? And that's what because they have gates up. They have the gates up where you shouldn't be. It says, "Oh yeah, you can't cross this boundary." So when I don't cross those boundaries, like, why is anybody worried about what I'm doing? That's all I'm saying. How is that public safety?